Good evening. While for many today the sporting highlight would have been the extraordinary events at the Oval, there are plenty of people not entirely displeased by the return of football to the sporting calendar. The Charity Shield, the usual curtain raiser at Wembley between the league champions and the FA Cup winners. Now, as you'll recall, Arsenal were heading for the double last season until that cup semi-final.
Stewart to the right, Lineker and Howells to the left. Is Gascoigne going to have a crack? He is, you know. Oh, I say! Brilliant! Stewart. Enjoyed playing in midfield, Stewart. Nice little touch from Gascoigne. Allen was onside, plenty forward. Mabbott trying to get there. Smith, it's gone in! Lineker got the final touch. Smith. Here for offside, it's not. It's curled. Smith! He scored! Dixon's cross. Smith's head. Mabbott fed it well. Naeem to the left. Samway's ahead. And Lineker uses him by not using him. Good try, scored! And David Seaman will be very disappointed about that. It seemed to go through his fingers.
Disappointment for Arsenal in the Cup, but of course they went on to lift their second league title in 3 years. Spurs, rattled early on by the departure of the injured Gascoigne, beat Nottingham Forest in the Cup final. Subsequently, Terry Venables found the sugar daddy to help solve the financial crisis and future control of the club. Peter Shreves has returned as team manager at White Hart Lane. Venables now elevated to the peerage, but likely to remain pretty involved with the steerage. So the appropriate silverware on display before the all North London affair at Wembley today. Highlights coming right up. Scotland, league action got underway this afternoon. We'll be taking a brief look at the champions of the last 3 years, Rangers. But now, the Tennent's Charity Shield, Arsenal v Spurs, commentary from Trevor Brooking and John Motson.
This is the first time two London clubs have contested the Charity Shield, and the team news suggests little has changed during the summer at Highbury or White Hart Lane in terms of playing personnel. Arsenal, who could equal Liverpool's record of 8 outright Charity Shield wins today, field much the side that won the championship while losing only 1 league game. But at number 5, Steve Bold, who was ever present last season, has an ankle injury, so David O'Leary starts his 17th season with the club in the number 5 shirt. At number 7, David Rocastle plays with strapping over a hand injury. There's no Anders Limpar. He was injured playing for Sweden on Thursday. The Tottenham side shows one change from that which played the greater part of the FA Cup final. At number 2, fit again Terry Fenwick replaces Justin Edinburgh, with Pat van den Ouw switching from right back to left. Number 7, Paul Stewart, meets Terry Venables on Monday to discuss a new contract with Spurs. And number 8, Naeem, is in the starting lineup after coming on as substitute in both the semi-final and the final. The man he replaced, Paul Gascoigne, is sitting with the Spurs staff on the touchline today, and down there 5 substitutes for each side, any 2 of which can be used according to European rules, which of course both these clubs have got to concern themselves with in the coming season. The referee is Terry Holbrook of Wolverhampton, and if the Charity Shield is supposed to be a gentle introduction to the season, don't try telling that to the supporters of Arsenal and Tottenham, who've come in their many thousands here today to give Wembley the usual flavour you associate with a North London derby. Familiar colours for both sides. Eric Torsvet in goal for Tottenham. Adams going for a ride. Here's David Howells. And Lineker looked well offside there. This is Winterburn. Campbell. Hillier. Long ball by Naeem for Lineker. Vanden Hauwe. Naeem again. Oh. Something happened off the ball between Rocastle and Vanden Hauwe.
The Rocastle just went in a bit late on Pat Vanden Hauwe, and because Rocastle playing with his problem with his 2 fingers he broke last weekend, and Vanden Hauwe perhaps thought he came in a bit late, but Rocastle might have a problem with balance and stopping, because you do use your hand for balance.
Well, certainly Vanden Hauwe has come off worse. He's a strong fella, but he's hobbling quite badly, the Spurs number 3. Fenwick, meantime, gets the better of Merson on the other side of the pitch. And finds Samways. Not for long. Campbell. Round Sedgley, who didn't foul him, according to the referee. Quite interested in this referee today, Trevor, Terry Holbrook, because he's one of the officials who really impressed me last season. And after all the talk of contentious refereeing decisions, the cup final being one example, it'll be interesting to see how he handles what's always a difficult game between two such close rivals.
Well, though it's a Charity Shield and a pre-season game, both sides psychologically will want to approach the league season with a good win here today, and there's always a bit of feeling because of the results of last season. Justin Edinburgh just loosening up, and I think he'll keep a close watch on it, but hopefully this year we get the football getting the headlines and not too many controversy over referee decisions as we did last.
Well played. Naeem to Howells. Plenty of cut and thrust. This is Rocastle. Dixon. Rocastle to Davis. Tries to put Campbell in here, and he's got him in. We've got goal side of Vanden Hauwe, Campbell, and George Graham's face suggests that was a good chance.
Best chance of the match so far. You see he tries to side foot it in, really gets underneath it, lobs it over the crossbar, I think head down and a drive, and great ball by Paul Davis, clips it, and it's Pat Vanden Hauwe coming in from the right who played him on, tries to side foot on the half volley, gets underneath it. Very good chance for a striker that.
Long ball by O'Leary. Flick on was by Campbell. This is Merson. He's got Davis well forward, but only found Howells. Good running by Sedgley from the back, but didn't read what Stewart was going to do. Rocastle. Sedgley now back in the action. Winterburn, Merson. And Alan Smith's coming in here. Offside, is he? Yes. Time seemed to stand still for a moment. Certainly the Spurs defence did, Trevor.
Again, Spurs and Arsenal both do hold their lines on what we call the 18-yard box. They don't like to be pushed back beyond that. Merson plays the ball, and as you see here, he looks 5 or 6 yards offside, Alan Smith, but I think you find when the ball was played, it was only about a yard, so there wasn't much in it. Merson, though, a good driving cross, but again, just a little bit too early with the forward run, the striker.
Reminder that Smith did score with a header in that semi-final between the two teams. Brought the score back to 2-1, if you remember. Now, Naeem's had a couple of good moments in the first half. His distribution has been of a high order. That's going to be a free kick to Spurs. And in the absence of Gascoigne, Naeem seems to be playing a lead role. There's Lineker.
Interesting picture of Spurs now. You can see very much this season a very European style where they've got everyone now back to the halfway line. They're going to let the teams have it in their half and then all drop back, get goal side and let them just come onto them, very much as the Continentals play.
Yes, thoughts of Europe in the minds of both these clubs. Arsenal in the European Cup and Spurs, who have an extra preliminary round to play very shortly in the Cup Winners' Cup. In fact, the first hurdle for both clubs is against Austrian opposition. Rocastle. Back to Dixon. That's going to be a corner for Arsenal. Paul Davis will come across to take it, and it will be the first time that O'Leary and Adams have had the chance to come forward. Also got Smith to aim at in there, of course. It's come back out to Dixon. Oh, and Smith allowed Adams to go in first, and Torsbeck did well to hang on to it in a bit of a crowd in front of him. I don't think you'll see much change in the style of play under Peter Shreves, because he's a great believer in the Tottenham tradition. And I do know he intends to keep the five-man midfield system for the time being at least. Here's Naeem, and this is Samways. Van den Hauwe, good-looking ball for David Howells here. Lineker waiting in the centre. It's over Seaman, and not far away from Howells.
See the difference it makes when you get somebody from midfield then help out. Gary Lineker made the run from the back towards the far post, and there David Howell comes through from the middle, and Paul Davis it is who has to come all the way back to try and block the cross. Could have been a better cross, but at least they're making runs from that position now.
Dixon looking for Smith here. This is Rocastle, and it's Hillier. Corner deflected off a Tottenham player from David Hillier. Dixon. Winterburn. Now this is Lineker. If Tottenham could get somebody to break on the far side of the field, there are possibilities here. It's closed up a little bit, but there goes Samways. Lineker's waiting in the centre. They've got players to spare here. And Naeem is there. It's a terrific save by David Seaman from Naeem. It's Finnick on the far side. Naeem again. This is Samways. And finally, the referee has stopped it. And I would think David Seaman pleased with the save, Trevor.
It was a great break by Spurs. Vinnie Samways, first time we've seen his flair in the match. He rides the tackle very well from Tony Adams. Gary Lineker now makes a great run to the near post as Samways looks up, sees Naeem at the far post, heads it down, does everything right, and Seaman using his feet, showing the goalkeeper what they've got to do.
I say Seaman will be pleased because if you think back to the semi-final, he had his critics on a couple of the Tottenham goals that day. Maybe a little harsh, but certainly nothing wrong with that save, and his goalkeeping was highly important in Arsenal's championship success. It's an offside against Kevin Campbell.
That was a classic tactic, really, the counter-attack. As you see, Samways looking up, having got clear, Naeem heading it down, and David Seaman making ground, sticks out the right foot, although Nigel Winterburn was behind him. But he had an outstanding season last year. But as I say, it does show, because Arsenal probably had, what, 10-15 minutes where they were getting a lot of possession without quite able to create a chance. Spurs suddenly break and could have taken the lead.
Well, they say you should try and head the ball away from the, or rather where the goalkeeper has come from. And it did look as if for a second he might have wrong-footed the keeper, but Seaman got behind it, and the score remains 0-0. Smith. Lineker's touch, oh, beauty. Samways is on his own at the moment, but Lineker is the spare man again. Taking on Adams, he's got Paul Allen just to his right, making ground now. And Samways offside. That wouldn't have counted. But it was a super sweeping move by Spurs, and the two players, Trevor, Samways and Lineker.
I would say in the last few minutes, Samways had just pushed up a bit closer to Lineker. He set up the opening just before that, and there Samways just runs, what, a yard or two offside, but it was his link up again supporting Lineker that opened up the Arsenal defence.
There was a super touch by Lineker back on the halfway line that put Samways in possession, and then Lineker made yards to the other side, to the right, to link up again. Good understanding between those two players. Here's Rocastle. That stirred the Arsenal fans a little. It might have stirred the team as well. And Torsveld against Smith. Well, initially against Campbell and then against Smith. Davis. Rocastle. Dixon. Campbell comes in, and Torsveld, who had a good match in both semi-final and final of the FA Cup, and also played for Norway in that shock European Championship victory over Italy in June. Well, here's Rocastle giving good balance and shape to Arsenal. Seemed as that was a foul by Steve Sedgley, but the referee didn't say it was, and Play goes on. This is Lineker. Now there's a wrestling match. Adams and Samways, free kick quickly taken. It's so fast and furious in there. Another good touch by Lineker. This is Stewart. To his right, Allen. And Merson came in behind Stewart. Allen's cross. No flag. And while Dixon gets across Lineker there, the referee had to just keep an eye out for what was going on after a challenge by Merson on Stewart.
Well, I think there were a couple of decisions that seemed to go the wrong way for me. First of all, I think Sedgley definitely fouled Rocastle. That seemed to wind up the players a bit, and then I think Adams actually fouled the Spurs player as well, didn't get the decision, and suddenly Merson chasing back, tried to bring Stewart down. There was a little flurry which the referee just got a clamp on leading up to the interval.
Here's Rocastle. Well, it was given away by Mabbott. This is Winterville. There's a flag up on the far side. It may be that Kevin Campbell was in an offside position a moment or two earlier.
I think that was the decision, but Kevin Campbell was this side of the field, and for me, I can't see how you can blow up for an offside decision. No way was he interfering with play at that stage.
Well, there'll be one or two things for the supporters to debate and argue about at half-time, which is not far away now. As yet, they haven't seen a goal. But the keen edge to every Spurs-Arsenal contest has been there for all to see. Back we're in the last minute of the half. It's O'Leary. And it's Rocastle looking for Merson on the left. Winterburn. Davis. Good cross from the left back. Paul Davis trying to get round Pat Vanden Hauwe. Stoppage time now at the end of the first half. Howells for Spurs. Well, there's generous applause as the teams go off. David Seaman had to be alert to stop the header from Naeem, one of the highlights of the first half, and Eric Torsvet was just as competent at the other end. So Arsenal 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 after the first 45 minutes of the first All-London Charity Shield. Although Arsenal have won this Charity Shield 7 times, they've only lifted it twice since the war, and you have to go back to 1953 for their last Charity Shield success. Spurs last won it outright in 1962, shared it since then, 1981 with Aston Villa. This is Paul Merson. Winterburn. And the Charity Shield is always shared these days. If the match ends in a draw, there's no extra time, there's no penalty shootout. Here's Merson. Promising. It's going to come to Davis. Could have possibly preferred that on his left foot. But it was an opening.
I think you're quite right. Much preferred it on his left. Paul Merson, I thought, had some good couple of months in mid-season last year on that left-hand side. And as it fell for Davis, he just stretched for it, cuts inside on his favourite right foot. That shot's blocked, comes across the face of the goal, and he just waits for it to reach his right, and then he's hustled out of it over the crossbar.
Merson's having a good match. Took on Terry Fenwick, and as Vinnie Samways tried to get the second challenge in, the referee gave the free kick anyway. Played for Merson. Here's Rocastle. That hit Paul Stewart. Oh, hit Alan Smith for a chance. Too long for Campbell. It's coming to Merson. And Fenwick sees it behind. Pat Vanden Hauwe will be relieved there. It was he who put the ball in the path of Alan Smith. And it could have been worse for Tottenham. As it is, Merson will take the corner. That was Davis. Well, what a scramble and a let-off, I think, Trevor, really, for Spurs.
It definitely was, and Arsenal started very well. Here you see the shot initially blocked, and then without really looking, Vanden Hauwe knocks it back. Smith, very alert, clips it back across, and it sort of hangs in the air, half-headed clear, and Paul Merson, who it drops to, perhaps could have hit it earlier, tried to go outside and then got shot out for a corner.
Well, Arsenal have made the more promising start to the second half, of that there's no doubt. And David Rocastle gets the better of, or rather the worse of the frustration that Pat Vanden Hauwe must be feeling currently.
I think we've got to remember that early tackle as well, and as Rocastle comes in late here, Vanden Hauwe is waiting for him, doesn't worry about the ball, and he really just stands there to be blocked, and Rocastle comes off a lot worse there.
What Rocastle is saying is that Vanden Hauwe used the elbow. That seems to be the accusation. Hillier for Arsenal. Merson. This is Winterburn. Merson again. Davis. Winterburn. He's onside. It's Kevin Campbell. Smith's in the middle, being joined now by Rocastle. Still Campbell. Now it's Hillier and Winterburn. Hillier again. Oh, that's a good ball, wide for Dixon.
Dixon always making those overlapping runs. That cross a bit too near Torsted. Arsenal again started well, good possession. Can't quite create the opening though. They got Merson takes people on, but without Limpard, probably he's the only person who actually dribbles and goes past defenders.
Here he is again, and he's got past Sedgley. Smith, Merson going for the return. Thought he was blocked. But this has been a bold start to the second period by the First Division champions, and Merson is in the thick of it. Well, the Arsenal supporters who you heard there are watching the referee now, because again there's been a collision between Rocastle and Vanden Hauwe, and there's also an argument between Vanden Hauwe and other Arsenal players, and it's all getting very much out of hand, and Rocastle seems to have been shown the yellow card.
Correct decision, because Rocastle definitely had no need to come in late on the tackle. Vanden Hauwe was always going to hook it down the line, and once he had done, Rocastle came in late, and after the 2 or 3 sort of set twos that they've had, I think there was no alternative but a yellow card.
So Rocastle is booked. Comes off O'Leary.
Of course, it is a very important season for David Rocastle. Opportunity now to try and force his way and establish himself back in the side. He's been in and out with injuries and loss of form for 2 seasons, and now with Anders Limpar with a knock, can look on this as an opportunity, as I say, to get that right-hand flank spot.
Oh, goodness me. Well, Van den Hauwe now surely must have the same punishment applied. I mean, what a reckless challenge. Now, Peter Shreves, who we see in the picture there, last week in Glasgow, took off Steve Sedgley after a reckless tackle. And I wonder if he would now at Wembley apply the same decision to Pat Van den Hauwe. So Arsenal take the free kick, and it's aimed at Alan Smith. Winterburn. Nabbit. Merson. That came off Gary Mabbott. Lineker against Tony Adams.
But when that ball went into Gary Lineker, there was only one other Spurs player, Vinny Samways, just across the halfway line. You've got to get more support there. They seem to be tiring a bit in the heat, but at the moment getting pushed back on defence and having problems really making any sort of attack.
Rocastle. Merson. He's got Winterburn to his left. Same two again. Nice touch. Merson. Rocastle. That's not what Merson anticipated.
I think Mercer was complaining because he got body checked as he went to play the 1-2 and was looking for the free kick, which I must say I thought he should have got.
Davis. Merson, come off the back of Kevin Campbell. Arsenal are really going for it at the moment. They're at Spurs' throats. Surrounding Paul Stewart there. Now Davis. Dixon. Well played by Lee Dixon, this. Foul. Steve Sedgley, who then said something to Dixon when he was on the ground. There was no need for that from Sedgley. The decision had been given, and tempers are rising again. The players who Eric Torzett will be keeping an eye on round the ball are Hillier, Davis and Winterburn. And it's Davis who hits the wall with the shot. Well played by Hillier. Now it's Rocastle for Arsenal. Stewart defending well. In fact, we've seen more of Stewart in defence than in attack today. He's made some useful interceptions because Spurs are being pushed back in this half. Oh, good touch on the chest there by Paul Allen. This is Vinny Samways with Naeem to his left. And Samways going again. Naeem again. Oh, Arsenal were just a little distracted there. The flag was up for offside actually, but the referee saw no need to stop the game because Arsenal had possession. This is Merson. He's really having a go at Terry Fenwick at the moment, is Merson. And it needs cover. Spurs have got to... Oh, he's beaten the second man as well. This is Merson out on the left for Arsenal, dodging one challenge and then turning away nicely from a second one. And it was at this point where the cross was possibly overhit, because he did have a couple of players coming in there. Oh, in fact, it spooned off a Tottenham player running back. Lineker. Stewart's in a great position in the middle if he can be found. He won't be by that, but Allen is trying to get there too. And David Seaman doing in a... Allen protested, asked for a free kick. Not given, is it?
Here's the initial cross, just going well beyond the far post, and David Seaman, once committed, got to go the whole way, goes on a sliding tackle with Paul Allen.
This is Davis, this is Hillier. And now Lineker. It came off Winterburn. Castle. Mabbott. Hillier. Dixon. And Adams. Good play again by David Hillier. This is Rocastle. And by him too. Oh, it was a little ball meant for Campbell. It nearly found a way through. Spurs had to be alert. Rocastle again. Arsenal probing now. Hillier. Well played. Davis didn't control it well. Adams. And Arsenal first of the ball again with Winterburn. This is Merson. Smith's on the far side. It's too long for him initially. But it's Rocastle now to Dixon. And that's going out for a corner. Well, George Graham's team definitely having the better of the second half. And Torsbeck will turn it over. Initially it was Campbell, then it was a defender, and the goalkeeper concedes a corner on the other side. Adams has got his arms up. Again, the Spurs defensive organisation works for them. This is Paul Stewart. Taking on Paul Davis. Lineker's on this side of the field. Spurs getting others up from midfield now. One of them is Samways in there. Here comes Sedgley as well. And that was nicely played. But the pullback went behind Gary Lineker from Paul Allen. And this is Merson for Arsenal. Bit of space around. Hillier. Out to Dixon. Well, it was a floater. And Torsbeck wasn't taking any chances. Well, Spurs got behind the Arsenal defence at the other end, but here Dixon looped one up, not quite, I think, what he intended, but it forced a save out of the goalkeeper. So he has some more defending to do now. They're going to score in a minute is the cry from the Arsenal supporters. Now Campbell's made a run short to just change the corner a bit. Davis again. Well, here comes Winterburn, and he's won it. But it's taken Dixon to set things up to Merson. The tackle was by Gary Mabbott, who usually plays the ball, and so he did on that occasion, or tried to. And there's no hard feelings there.
Merson again running at defenders. Now and again, as I say, perhaps takes on one or two more than he should on that occasion. Couldn't see him getting past the Spurs defence, but I think they're soaking up so much pressure, Spurs. You just wonder if they can, by getting so many numbers back, hold out. I think they need to take a little bit more chance, try and push one or two of those midfield players up to support Gary Lineker, just to relieve the pressure.
That's the ball from Naeem looking for Samways, but O'Leary was there first. Yes, the greatest share of play has been with the league champions in the second half. Here's Hillier for them now. And there goes Campbell, and Maddox the defender. I must say I'd like the look of, that was Campbell who nearly got through. I like the look of David Hillier at number 4 for Arsenal. He seems to be a growing player. Here's Merson. And the 1-2 for Merson again. And Smith tries to get there, and Torsbeck makes it. Merson went down under a double tackle, really, one on each side.
It was a superb 1-2. Again, Merson, his pace for the 1-2, taking him through the gap, and there it is, two defenders going in, Fenwick and in fact Sedgley. The ball could have run out kindly to Alan Smith. As it happened, it went closer to Torsford, and he couldn't get the side foot home, but they're just clinging on, Spurs, at the moment.
Rocastle. Dixon steaming up outside him on the right, but eventually found. Hillier. Oh, that's a good ball, and unlucky on Hillier's part that Campbell had just got offside. Here's Lineker trying to make progress for Spurs. This is Paul Allen. Lineker's now pulled away to the other side of the penalty area. Still Allen. Samways now. And Lineker's there! Oh, what a good chance. But was he offside anyway? I don't think it would have stood, because there was a flag up on the far side. Sedgley's header. Thomas. Samways. And now it's Lineker. Paul Stewart running strongly to the left. Now Spurs have got a chance here. They've got Lineker in the area, and Allen and Samways. And it was a good piece of defending by the Arsenal captain. Positioned himself between two of them and won the header. Hillier. Smith. Fenwick. Try again. Good ball. Allen. And they've got three up there again. Samways. Oh, Allen wasn't expecting that, and there was an offside flag up anyway. This is Merson getting forward for Arsenal, trying to find Thomas. Hillier. That's Cole jumping. Here's Smith back to Merson. The crowd oohed and ahed a bit there, because we haven't seen what you'd call many genuine shots on goal, Trevor, have we?
Well, on this occasion, it sort of just bounces around from Alan Smith, picks it up, lays it out to Merson. He comes inside on his right foot. He's a long way out, and although he strikes it well, Torsford has it covered.
Offside flags up anyway. It was Vinnie Samways coming back before Lineker got involved. See Alan Sugar there, one of the co-owners of Tottenham Hotspur now. This is Alan. Lineker. It's good play by Tottenham. This is Naeem. And that is going to be offside. There's a flag up. Much to Tottenham's frustration. Moving into time that the referee will be adding on for stoppages here. Davis. Thomas. Merson. Is there going to be a grandstand finish from Arsenal? It's Merson. It's Cole. Side netting. The Arsenal fans all over the stadium celebrating, because from a certain angle it might have looked as though it had gone into the booking, but in fact it was Andrew Cole against the outside of the net.
Again, Merson going at defenders, brings out Gary Mabbott, touch to the side. Andrew Cole, not perhaps realising he had a bit more time, hits it on the turn into the side netting. He's a good young striker, got a lot of pace, a lot of movement, and I think he's going to be one to watch for the future.
And your final word on a 0-0 draw?
I think Arsenal definitely had more of the play. Both managers there chatting about the game, probably satisfied that their sides have got a good workout, helped their fitness, but in the end nobody quite getting the goal that probably the match needed.
So the FA Charity Shield for this coming season will be shared. It'll spend 6 months at Highbury and 6 months at White Hart Lane. The final score between the two North London rivals, as it was in both league meetings last season: Arsenal 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
So for the second year running, the Charity Shield is shared, the 5th time this has happened at Wembley. Well, afterwards, we spoke to some of the principals.
Gary, as well as being hot today, that looked to be very competitive.
Yes, it was. It was always going to be a very competitive game, because obviously any Arsenal-Tottenham game are going to be that way. But I thought first half, the first 20 minutes, they took the advantage, and we fought our way back into the game, and then we had a great chance that David Seaman made a tremendous save from Naeem's head. But second half again, I thought that their strength really showed a bit, and they again got on top of it, but we defended well, we worked very hard. I think in the end, on the shed was a fair result.
There were one or two signs of the competitive edge that there always is in matches between Arsenal and Tottenham.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot at stake. North London rivals, Arsenal and Tottenham, the supporters, Tottenham want to do it for their supporters and we want to do it for ours. So you're going to get some heated tackles and things, but there was nothing kind of over the top or anything too bad today. So, it's well competed and a good game.
You haven't bought a player this summer?
No, everybody's sort of worried about that. I think we were reasonably successful last season, and I would arguably, I still want to look for at least a couple of players. On numbers-wise, we still need at least 2, probably 3 players. But it's not a panicky situation. Whereas a lot of other clubs, they've actually bought because they thought it was necessary to get the team right for the challenge for the honours this season. I think I've got a very good team and a good squad, but I still think I need another 2 or 3 players.
Would that be a defender? Because your name was connected with, was it Paul Parker when he was available?
Not necessarily. I think any good players, you know what I mean, if they're really top quality. I just want another few players to sort of keep the competition for places at a very hot pace.
Peter, with one eye on the Football League season, which starts next Saturday, what did you learn about Tottenham today?
I think that's the best system I can use of the players I have at my choice at the moment.
That's with 5 in midfield?
5 in midfield and Gary Lineker at the front. What we wasn't able to do today was to get the support up together quick enough, because we had some tired legs in the second half in particular. But even then we've created decent openings, and maybe our final ball in from the flanks could have been better. But yes, I believe that's the system that I'll go ahead with until such a time as different players are available.
Are you looking to strengthen the side? Is the money available?
The situation is that Terry, has inherited a delicate financial balance to do. It's a juggling act. Money's coming in, has to go some to pan off our debts, and then of course there will be some money available for Chancellor. But I just want to talk about the players that played very well for me today. They worked particularly hard.
in the second half, when Arsenal were firing on all cylinders, we stood our ground, and all said and done, there wasn't many opportunities that came their way.
What's it like for you? What new role, the new Supremo that people want to call you?
Well, it's different, and it's you know, it's no good overlapping jobs and trying to do everything because you fall between everything. I think the structure of what we've got is good. We've had a good staff, and everyone's stayed in their same positions. Peter Shreve coming in as team manager, who was very popular before, had a lot of respect from the players when he was here before, and knows Tottenham very well. And I think it all looks all right at the moment. The coaches are working with the players. I'm working with the coaches, and it's working all right.
I was going to ask you about that. How is your day-to-day involvement different?
Well, down in it's only different from the point of view that well, at the moment there's so many things to do. I haven't got out on the training pitch as much as we'd like, but we're talking before the coaches go out. But what I'll be doing is to be moving around in all the areas for the long-term policy as well as the short-term of Saturday to Saturday with the younger players and trying to make sure that we get the best out of those young players.
How would you be able to do that, though, Terry, with all the other distractions which you've now taken on your shoulder, the responsibility for being the club number one, for running the club, for being responsible for Tottenham in all areas?
Well, I hope.